Hello, Carrots here. Welcome to episode 20 of the 30 Grandchildren Badge Attempt. We've got a few of the teens here trying to find potions. That was Constance, whose potion just blew up in her face and she got all singed. She went off and had a shower and came back and tried again. And Latoya made a ghost potion. I think all of them, except for Kendall, have now got the potion they need to turn their imaginary friends real. That's Lynette. She's doing the laundry. Got to try to keep on top of that laundry. We've got 3 washing machines and 3 dryers now. Alicia has a wish to plant a forbidden fruit seed. I was extremely worried about this. I wanted her to achieve her wish because it was worth 1,000 lifetime happiness points. But I didn't want her to get a plant sim baby at this stage of the game. We just don't need that extra sim or extra trouble. And it wouldn't count as a grandchild either. So what she's doing here is she's trying to do gene splicing experiments, and she'll keep it up until she makes a forbidden fruit seed. Then we'll see if I go through the process and I'll let her plant it. She sure does get excited at times. Oh well, looks like Javon and Gwen have jumped the gun a bit. They've produced a son and they've named him Brendan. I was very surprised that he had such an ordinary name, to my ears at least. I've heard of that name before. Unfortunately, little Brendan won't count towards the grandchildren because he was born too soon. I wasn't logged in and I'm going to be changing out of this household about 14 or 15 more times before I can start counting the babies born as being part of the 30 grandchildren. So it'll be a while before we start getting those babies. There's Alicia. She's come down to work in the garden, and that's Kobe in his graduation outfit. Don't know why he's decided to garden in that. And I can just see Jerry over his shoulder there. She's working in her garden. This is Jerry's garden. Her lifetime wish is to have a perfect garden, so she needs to grow 8 different perfect harvestables. She's only up to about 3 so far. We're going to have to focus on this garden eventually. Joni, Megan and Kendall working on potions, and there Megan's just got the ghost potion. I think most of them, not just 3 here, but most of them have got a wish now to find all of the potions, as well as a variety of wishes specifying specific potions that they want to find. That's why they're doing so much time at these chemistry tables. And also a few of them are working on their logic skill to get to level 10 and 3 different skills. Now this is Felicia. She was reading the fishing books, but her fishing skill was only about level 3. So I sent her here to the wishing well to improve her fishing skill because I wanted to read all the fishing books before she goes off and gets married and moves out. And that means she needs to be at level 7 at least. Wynne has almost finished reading all of the recipe books that she's going to read and the fishing books. So now all she's doing is advancing in the science career along with Felicia. They both want to be creature-robot crossbreeders. Oh, there's a white horse. The teens are off to school, and there's the car there waiting for Felicia and Wynne to take them to work at the science facility. There's Wynne heading off. Felicia's going to be a little late because she is fishing and the wishing well, and I had to go down there and wake her up and say, hey, go to work. I think we've only got 5 teens now. There's the bus letting them out at the school. Yes, there's only 5 of them are still teens. Got more birthdays coming up. Alicia's finished reading all of her recipes, and now she's decided that all she wants to do is to get really good at martial arts. And that's Demetria trying to break a space rock. Looks like she's broken a few, or somebody's broken a few, with all those gems around her on the floor. And that's her imaginary friend Bobo, just sitting there patiently, still in his doll form. Wynne is almost ready to move out to her own home, so we'll risk having Bobo become real or come alive at the moment. That's why he's sitting on the floor behind his owner, hoping that he will eventually pop into life. Or she broke that space rock. As you can see, I'm hanging all the paintings that I liked or haven't seen before along the wall. There we go. There we are. We can see him now. Have a little chat. I think they're really high in their friendship though, so we probably don't have to chat for ages like some of them do. All those carved pumpkins. I have no idea who put all them there. They were growing pumpkins down in the garden, so I suppose somebody decided it was time to carve pumpkins. It's nowhere near Halloween. And the fish bowls are empty now. We've got all the surviving fish are in the 2 aquariums that I got them. I think if you want to keep your fish, the only way to really keep them for a long time is to put them in a storage box, because you put them in an aquarium or a fish bowl and they're likely to die reasonably fast. They won't stay there forever. They're enjoying their conversation, aren't they? I think that moment has arrived when she's going to offer. Yes, there it is. She's offered him the potion and he took it. There he is. Bobo is now real. So it's time for me to take him into Create a Sim and give him a new skin and a major makeover, and let's see what happens. So there's Larry and Jerry, and you can have a better look at the pumpkins. Larry is, of course, Lynette's future husband. I made him from scratch. He's not an imaginary friend made real. He's going to be married to Lynette and be the father of some of the grandchildren. There's Lynette with the long hair, nearest to us, and Alicia's future husband, Dennis, is painting a still life. And there's Wilfred chatting to Lynette. They both got the same coloured hair. So here the girls are coming home from work at the science facility. I did get Felicia to go to work eventually, and now Wynne has returned. And I think it's time that she's going to move out. She's read all of the recipes she needs to read, and she's read all her fishing books. So now she is ready to move to her own house. We'll only see her around town as a townie from now on. I've put her in my library though, so maybe one day I'll get another game where I'll play with her, because she is great to have. She's fun. I didn't show you much of her because I didn't get her to do all that much. She was mostly just reading books. But we will see more of her. There she is in front of her house, just walking in the front gate into her house. I've given her updated objects, fridge and bed and everything. Dennis just sold a painting. He's getting closer to, I think he's got up to level 8 now in the painting career. Probably would be at the top of it if I hadn't stopped him from selling most of his paintings. So there's Bobo, the redhead on the left. He's going to become a celebrated 5-star chef. That's what he wants to do. And Larry's sitting beside him. Larry's lifetime wish is to be surrounded by family, which is the typical lifetime wish for all the spouses that I made. And as for Bobo, well, I renamed him. He's now known as Ben, and he's got to learn all of the recipes that he can possibly learn given his level of cooking. So that's not very many. And then we will move him out, but probably in the next episode we want to let him have a bit of a time to learn a few things before we kick him out. That's an interesting looking painting that Dennis is working on now. I may not allow him to sell that one when he's finished it. Poor Dennis. But he's going to have Alicia shortly. They might even be leaving on their vacation at the end of this episode. We'll see how it goes. There's a lot going to happen between now and the end, though. So this is where Ben got to. I wondered where he was heading off for when he just suddenly jumped up and walked away from where he was sitting next to Larry. He's now next to some burning incense. And there's all the pumpkins again. And Alicia is now trying to break space rocks. She's certainly advancing in that martial arts skill. This is another great way to earn lots of simoleons. If you have a sim with the disciplined trait, once they get to be able to break space rocks, they tend to get obsessed with them. When a sim breaks a space rock, they usually produce a gem, and you end up with hundreds, depending on the size of the room. They just grow all around the sim breaking the space rock every time they manage to break one successfully. At the moment, I don't think Alicia is getting one every time she breaks a space rock, but they've obviously been getting a few, and it could be some other sims from the household doing it as well. Not all space rocks have a gem inside them though. She took a break from breaking space rocks. She has a wish to catch a death fish, so I thought she ought to have a go at the wishing well for a while to see if she can catch one. But all she did was get a bit wet when she tried to find a lucky coin, and the death fish were being a bit elusive today. Kobe, Lynette, Dolores and Dennis continue painting. They're all onto new paintings this time. They must have finished the ones they were working on last time we checked on them. And there's a pumpkin here as well. Somebody's obviously got pumpkins in their inventory. I've got most of the household working at jobs that they can do at home, and of course the ones that never get out to go to work or school have all got the stir-crazy moodlet, so I've sent them to the festival grounds. I added this one to an empty lot in the world. Anyway, here they all are enjoying themselves, and they've met up with Gwen. There she is. Haven't seen her for a while. That would be Demetria, I think. And there's Gwen, she's going to go skating. She's a townie now. We moved her out with Javon first of all. Then we moved out Robbie and Candice. And the next couple that are going to be moved out are Dennis and Alicia. And they're going to be going on their vacation shortly. There's Dolores having a bit of a mournful moment with that tombstone that she's found. There's lots of wildflowers around the park. That orange one there, the Cosmos, that's worth 600 simoleons. It is the most valuable of the wildflowers. The daisy is only worth 5, and the rest of them, it varies between $500 and $600 for each one picked, provided you sell them before midnight. I noticed that if I pick one right on midnight, they lose the value. You don't get a chance to sell them for full value. So I've decided to try to avoid having my sim pick any wildflowers when it's really close to midnight. Kobe's getting another ice cone. Everybody seems to be having a reasonably good time. Just getting outside is great for them at the moment. Hopefully their stir-crazy moodlets will have all gone by now. And I see Gwen is still enjoying skating. Demetrius decided to pick some wildflowers. They always take a deep sniff whenever they pick one. That is why I always get my Sims the Simunity lifetime reward as soon as possible. It's worth 7,500 lifetime happiness points, and Simunity is always the first one I get for them, because especially at the beginning of a game, your Sims need to get simoleons fairly quickly, and picking wildflowers is a great way to do it. But if they just pick the wildflowers without the Simunity lifetime reward, they get an allergic reaction and it gives them negative, and they're all sad and teary. Paparazzi have turned up and Dennis is dancing. He just loves to dance. I think he's just about got to the top of the dancing skill. Jerry's having fun learning to play horseshoes. I don't think she's doing very well yet. There's Gwen heading off somewhere. She must have got tired of skating. That tree with a hole in it, that came from EA, and I haven't added anything to this festival grounds, so whatever you see here came with the festival grounds, and it was one of the ones that EA built. But there is a modded version of that tree with bees in there. Somebody has combined the beehive with that tree and called it the bee tree. That is not the version with the beehive in it though. So let's leave them here. They're obviously having fun, but we've seen them having their fun for long enough. But first, let's see Demetria take a deep sniff on this flower. When I got home to the household, I found Ben sneaking, and I immediately wondered what he was up to. He doesn't have the evil trait, and all he did was sneak up behind Sharonda and stand there, scratch an imaginary itch on his knee. She's obviously enjoying the music. He looks like he might be thinking about getting hungry. Now, the imaginary friends made real and that have gone and moved out, they tend to leave me alone, except for tonight, when Wilfred got a strange call from Byron. Of course, Byron is Wilfred's imaginary friend made real and sent out to live in the world. So Wilfred said, yes, I'll come over, and here he is. He's turned up at Byron's house, and we can see Byron just walked down the steps after he walked up the steps, and he's going to invite Wilfred inside. And while they were chatting, it occurred to me that I'd got notifications from the game that Byron and Edith are now a couple, and they each are living alone in their separate households. So I thought this might be the perfect opportunity, now that I can actually look inside Byron's house, to move Edith in with Byron. So that is what I did, and here she is. I just merged the two households, and immediately Byron's attention was taken totally to Edith. Now, I'm not controlling either Byron or Edith. They are now acting as townies. Well, Edith's always been a townie. I put her in here originally at the start of the game so she could be a potential wife for one of the 15 children. But then she just became a townie because the potential spouses I'd already added started marrying each other, and I decided on a different plan to get the spouses into the game. Byron, of course, used to be Wilfred's imaginary friend. So all we can do here is observe and see what this pair get up to, while Wilfred just stands and watches watches. So up Byron's set of stairs. Byron's jumped into bed, he's snoring. And Enid, and she takes no time at all to climb in with him. And yet, he does have a spare bed. This is a 2-bedroomed house. There is a single spare bed in the next room. But there they are. They're now a couple, I suppose. And Wilfred just stood around for a while and decided he might as well just go home. So that's what he did. Sometime later, back at the main house, the garden needed attending to, and Alicia had planted that forbidden fruit seed that she had a strong wish to plant, and now it's got to the point where it needs to be picked, and I really don't want to plant Sim Baby to add to the household at this point. So let's see what happens. There's a 50-50 chance it'll be a plant Sim Baby or a forbidden fruit seed. And it looks like it was a forbidden fruit seed because now the plant has died and she didn't pick a baby. That's a relief. Mostly my Sims tend to get babies when they pick their forbidden fruit. So she can bin that one. And when I checked in her inventory, she does have a forbidden fruit seed in her inventory. So she can plant that one again at some point when it's more convenient for her to actually have a plant Sim Baby. As I said, the garden needs a lot of attention and Larry needs a lot more gardening experience because he needs to get to level 7 before I will allow him to marry Lynette and to have them move out to be a married couple together. Alicia and Dennis are about to go on their vacation and they should come home as an engaged or married couple, and when they're married they will move out and then it'll be Larry and Lynette's turn. They'll be the next couple to go on vacation and come home to get married and to move out. Several of the Sims in the household are in the gardening career and they've got awards to collect at City Hall, and here they are arriving at City Hall to collect their awards. It looks like Lynette was there already. She's got hers. She's come out again. I think that was Demetria and Jerry who went in next, and they've come out again now. So they've got, all three of them have got their gardening awards. That painting Dennis is doing, it looks to me to be like a zebra. Just the way those colours are arranged. Or will I make him keep it or will I let him sell it? Oh look, there's Wynne coming out of work. We don't see much of her now. She's moved out and become a townie, but she's still going to work at the science facility. Now it's birthday time. We've got 5 teens left, and after this we'll only have 3 teens left. That is Megan. She's got her lifetime wish of Renaissance Sim, and she's blown out her candles. I think there's actually 4 of them that are ready to age up at the moment, but I'm only doing them 2 at a time. The only one who's going to be left as a teen will be Kendall, and I'll have to decide what to do with him. I might just age him up without him getting his lifetime wish because I haven't been doing anything with him learning his photography skill. So there she is. Megan is all aged up and now she's a young adult, and she's going to need to go into Creator Sim or Stylist or something. Yeah, she's got the same problem. There's Alicia and someone. Is that Demetria or Dolores standing there? Could be I don't know. I can never tell those two apart. Once those two moved, then she'll be able to sit in that chair. So there's Kendall. He's at the end of the table eating his cake. He is the one who's going to have to make a decision about him he'll be the last one to age up anyway. Come on, Alicia, stop blowing your horn and just go get a piece of cake. There we go. Now Megan can sit and eat her cake. Dennis looks like he's missed out. And what's he doing in his formal gear? He must be practicing for his wedding. He's not there yet. They're not even girlfriend and boyfriend yet. There is another cake there. We got another birthday girl waiting in the wings. Kobe's cleaning up. That's Constance standing over there. She'll be one of the next 2 to age up, not this time. And there's Joni, she'll be the other one. I haven't aged them up even by playing ahead. They will be the next 2. So that leaves only Latoya to be the birthday girl for the second cake. And there is Latoya standing next to the cake. Jerry's all happy, all of her brood are aging up and becoming no longer her responsibility because they're moving out when they grow up and get married. Latoya's there waiting. She's thinking, will I blow out my candles now? Or there she goes, she's going to blow them out now. Candles are gone. There's Lynette on the right, Larry in the blue shirt on the left. They're going to be the next couple to go away after Alicia and Dennis come home and move out. I'm planning a huge wedding for them actually. I'm going to put my indoor-outdoor wedding venue into this world, and that's going to be a beautiful wedding, I'm sure. I've used it a few times, so I know how to handle it now. There she goes. Latoya is now a young adult. and she got a grade of A at school, so we can choose her trade. And of course, she's going to be family oriented. If she doesn't already have family oriented, I think she might have. We'll find nurturing or natural cook or something like that. Nurturing. There she goes. We've got to make potential spouses for the rest of them. I've got Larry in the game, and I've got another 3 made. So the potential spouses for Felicia and Wilfred and Dolores, I think, are already made and waiting in my library, but I'm going to have to get busy and make new spouses for a few more of them. As the various young adults move out and get married, there's more and more room being created in this household, so I should be able to start adding more than just one new potential spouse at a time. At least I'll keep trying. I tried adding 2 in when I moved Larry in, but the game didn't like it, so I will test that again after Alicia and Dennis have moved out and just see if I can get away with it or not. All but Kendall have got their potion to make their imaginary friends real as well. Now, I know that they've only just had their birthday, but I skipped all the reading of books, and that time flew by, and they've already ready to go to their graduation. And there goes Megan. We're getting a whole lot of interesting different activities into this episode because of so much time just being spent reading books, and we're only getting the highlights of what happened between the books being read, except for a few times when I showed you the books being read, but that didn't last very long. I think most of them have read all the books by now anyway. The only ones that'll still be reading books will be the new potential spouses, and that will give us time to get to know them before they go off to marry their sweethearts or their wives who they've been told they have to marry. So everyone's piling into this limo at City Hall. There's the pigeons. There's always a few pigeons walking around outside in the City Hall. There's Lynette and Jerry and Wilfred and everybody. I discovered that Alicia still had her beige nightie when she turned up here, so I snaffled her and took her into Creator Sim and quickly changed her. She had a beige swimsuit too in the end. I had to change that as well. But the other clothes she kept, I don't know what happened to her. I've got them all fixed now. See, there's Demetria. I've given her the flute forward dress. It was broken for a long time apparently, but it's been fixed so she can wear it. It was fixed a long time ago, probably by about 2012 actually. So there we go, everybody's inside. He was late. That was Ben showing up late. I was wondering where he was and why he wasn't in the group going inside before. He must have been reading a book and suddenly realised he'd been left behind. The ceremony must be just about over. The paparazzi have turned up to mess up the pictures. I'm sure they'll be happy with the pictures they get though. Just hope she keeps out of the way. I don't like it when she stands in front of the graduates as they toss up their diplomas. So that looks like it could be Dolores and Kobe and Dennis and Alicia and Felicia and Joni. She's still a teen. Wilfred. It could be Sharonda. There's one of our graduates, and there's the other graduate, so we've got the 2 graduates out there now. Demetria's just there in her flute forward dress. There goes Megan's diploma up in the air, and she caught it. Then it'll be Latoya's turn. Yes, there's Latoya. She's just tossed her diploma up into the air and caught it. And there's Larry come out. Yes, that dress that Demetria's wearing, I left the colours alone except for the cummerbund. It's usually a bright red, and I've given her a brown to sort of go with the hair and take the eyes away from her middle. So there's Joni heading off home. Now this is really funny, the way they went home. They each went home in their own limo. So it's a case of stacked limos. As the limos drive off, they just sort of peel away from all the limos that are underneath. But sometimes it's only a taxi. Depends how important the sim is that needs a ride home. I've no idea why they couldn't all go home in the same one. I think I've seen enough stacked limos. Somebody's got the family car. I think Larry better go home too. Oh, there's a couple sitting there reading books. That's Dennis and Kobe sitting there beside Dennis, and the paparazzi have just turned up and all the pigeons around them. Well, I've got it cut down enough that we can add the final 2 bits that I was really hoping to be able to squeeze in, and they're gonna be in. So just don't go away. Not yet. Later that day, it was obvious it was time for Alicia and Dennis to go on their vacation. I emptied their inventories as much as possible, wondered what to do with that forbidden fruit seed that Alicia had recently picked. I decided that she could plant it in the garden downstairs, and we'd worry about what grew out of it when they return from their vacation. So here they are, and they've taken the family car as well. Let's hope they can leave that behind when they return. I've already had to replace misplaced that once. Somebody else took it with them when they moved out. That's the second car. So they're off. I do hope you've enjoyed this episode, and I'll see you for the next episode. They're going to a very nice location where there's going to be lots of fun things for them to do, and I'm sure you will enjoy it, and I hope you've enjoyed this episode. If you have, please give it a like and subscribe if you haven't subscribed and you don't want to miss the next episode. So thank you for watching. Bye bye for now, and happy simming.